So the new Overwatch hero Sierra just came out, and I have to say, I'm having a lot of fun. First, it's quite therapeutic to just hold down the trigger with a helix rifle. There is a strong incentive to keep the fire button held down as the spread tightens with continuous fire, given the 18-round magazine, and it's quite enjoyable to fire all day long. But the real fun of her abilities is the tracking shot. There is nothing more satisfying than landing it on a lower HP target whilst they're out in the open, pressing the fire trigger until they are eliminated. Sierra's tracking shot is a lot of fun and it's extremely satisfying to aim your gun upwards after you land it and have your shots arc to hit your target. The tracking shot can also highlight why Soldier 76's ultimate can feel really weak and easy to avoid, whereas her tracking shot is deadly. Soldier 76 has to channel before he can use his ultimate, meaning the enemy has enough time to hide and take cover. Sierra's tracking shot is hard to see and there is no wind up, so you have no idea when she's going to fire it. She can still miss, but the enemy won't know if she's firing a regular bullet or a deadly arrow that might as well be a quick trip to the grave for most squishy heroes. But ultimately, like a Sombra or any flanker for that matter, the best way to use the tracking shot is to use it subtly and stealthily. You get the drop on someone, fire your tracking shot, and then eliminate them. Since they were caught by surprise, it's unlikely they can break line of sight, and you're likely to get the elimination. In my last video, I talked about Sojourn and how one of the biggest reasons she feels so powerful is her rapid movement and how she doesn't need to face the direction she wants to move in order to move in that direction. Thanks to her burst movement, she can be evasive, take aggressive angles, and escape bad situations as she has the speed to do so. But the real kicker with Sojourn is that she does not need to turn in the direction to do so. God forbid, a full 180 turn might as well be digging your own grave. The same applies to Sierra. She can set up her anchor drone, get into a fight, and if the fight didn't pan out the way she expected, she can use her anchor drone to retreat, and she does not need to turn to her drone to escape. Just one button press and boom. Whilst turning around to escape only takes a few seconds, those few seconds can mean all the difference in Overwatch. The only issue with the drone is that it has to be placed preemptively, so you have to remember to place it. The whole 3-second deployment might as well be signing your death certificate. However, since the drone has 2 shots before going on cooldown, it can be used both offensively and defensively. You can use it to get into an angle or get into an advantageous position, and then use the drone to escape. Being able to grapple twice does give her an edge over Sojourn, as if Sojourn slides into an aggressive angle but the plan backfires, she has no escape options unless her second perk is activated. On the other hand, if Sierra grapples into a bad spot, if her drone positioning is good, she can grapple back to safety. In addition, her anchor drone gives her a high level of vertical options, and after playing Sierra for a few hours, one thing I came to realize is that her drone may be just as good, if not better, at providing offense over defense. She can use her drone to get elevation for her abilities to work to their maximum. She can launch her drone above the enemy to make the tremor charge hit more people, and you're more likely to land your tracking charge. In addition, one thing I like to do as Sierra is if someone has a barrier in front of me, like a Reinhardt or a Matra, I launch myself above the barrier so I can land my grenade. If you can't go through the shield, go above it. The drone is also a useful ability to combine with her ultimate, Trailblazer. If I had to describe it, it's a hybrid between Hanzo's Dragon Strike and Wrecking Ball's Mines. It's like a Dragon Strike as it covers an area in damage that a player needs to avoid to stop themselves from getting eliminated. But it's like Hammond's Mines in that you have options in how spread out you want the explosives to be. If you aim your drone high, the explosives are more spread out, so they do less damage but cover a larger area. If you aim low, they cover a smaller area and in turn hit the damage as the explosives are more clustered. So overall, Sierra is a fun addition to the roster. Her abilities are relatively simple and straightforward to use and understand. Her helix rifle may not be the best at long range, but the emphasis on keeping your trigger on the finger makes it easy to use, and due to her firing so many projectiles down range, it's easy enough to land headshots. But I would say the win condition with Sierra is how consistently you can land your tracking shots, and wherever you can capitalize on wherever it lands on someone. Good players can play around her tracking dart similar to how they can play around a Roadhog hook, but even if the dart lands, the enemy still has the option to escape by breaking line of sight. However, if you land them consistently and the enemy has minimal options to escape, you'll be racking up the E-limbs in no time. And if nothing else, her movement options for escape are amazing, as you don't need to take a 180-degree turn to escape. Or, to put more simply, you don't need to show your ass to the enemy to escape. And if martial arts have taught me anything, it's this: don't show your ass. This is Zach, not Zach, signing off. Please remember to like, favorite, comment, and subscribe.